Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I believe in self-protection, and here's why. The average response time of a 911 call is 23 minutes. Now, the response time of a 357 is 1,400 feet per second. Remember that. Good morning, everybody. Zeb Bell. Zeb at the Ranch. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning. Thank you very much, Kate Smith, and good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and of course our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and we'll be talking to them a little later this morning, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And without further ado, we say good morning to the lovely quarterback of the team, running all the calls and the board. Good morning, Gina.
Morning, sunshine, and how are you on this beautiful day?
Things are progressing, and it looks like the weather forecast is going to straighten up. We're going to have a nice weekend, a warm weekend, and we'll be talking to you a little bit later on about all your activities and everything, but you're doing well this morning, we hope.
I am, and of course, is now here for the pledge. It's either going to be you or me or Michael.
No, I like to get your voice in there. You do a great job, so I'll let you do the pledge, and then I'll start the weather with Michael.
You got it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, extremely well done. Thank you very much. And right now, I'd like to mention that our weather forecast, being brought to you by the world's best weatherman, Michael Rogers, weather.com, is brought to you and sponsored by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Nice folks, Kyle and Whitney Cheney of 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Listen, look for the blue door. Their phone number is 678-6945. And they have a slogan that says, where your home design needs are aisles apart, not miles apart, and they can meet or beat any price on flooring. Free in-house consultation. They want to serve you to beautify your home. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Here now is Michael Rogers Weather.
Good morning. I'm doing the weather exactly from the same spot I gave you your weather forecast in 2011. I'm sitting here at the spot where they filmed the TV show Ice Road Truckers on the Dalton Highway, just north of Fairbanks. The Dalton Highway takes you all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. It's about 484 miles. And you've been watching that TV show for quite some time. It's cloudy up here, and it's been raining since Tuesday. Zeb already gave you your weather forecast, so it's pretty easy all the way across the board for this solstice weekend. You're going to see sunny conditions, temperatures in the upper 70s for today. Then you get to the mid-80s as you go work your way toward the weekend. And then by Monday, 2 things are going to happen. The first thing, you're going to see sunny conditions with a high of about 84, 85. Then you're going to start to lose daylight because the longest day of the year takes place on Saturday. You get about 15 hours and change. We up here in Alaska get about 21 hours and 45 minutes of daylight. It'll continue to lose daylight all the way to December 21st, which is known as the first day of winter. So other than that, have yourself a great weekend. enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
That was really interesting and informative. Thank you, Michael. RogersWeather.com, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Hardwoods, laminates, vinyl sheeting, carpet, cabinets, natural stone, Oakley stone. They can do all your countertops. I'm telling you, they can meet or beat any price on flooring. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for their blue door. Hey, let's bring some steers in and sell them. How about Merv May? Come on in here, would you please?
You get the steer calves here. $31, $31, $32.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with sale time today at 10:30. Number to call, Merv May, Lance Udy, and the crew, 678-9411. Talked to Merv this morning early, and they've got lots of good butcher cows coming through the ring today. The Acme Dairy over at Oakley's bringing in 35 head of butcher cows and 30 head of Holstein steers. Chet and Kim Brackett out at Three Creek. Hello, Brackets, 30 head of butcher bulls. P-Bar S Dairy of Malda bringing in 20 head of butcher cows. Oak Valley Dairy, Burley, bringing in 60 head of butcher cows. Moo Mountain Dairy, East Ridge Dairy, TLK Dairy up at Mountain Home, all of them bringing in butcher cows. And the sale time, 10:30 this morning, and along with a great trailer line run, this is going to be another good sale at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves here. $31, $31, $32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135.50, 135.5, $7.35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
All right, thank you very much, and boy, what a way to hit bottom at that price compared to what I normally sell for, so thank you very much. Calls are welcome and appreciated, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I also want to remind you, just had this sent to me yesterday, and they say come have fun for a good cause and help a local family. Janelle Wynn and her 4 kids, they lost everything, including their car, in a devastating house fire, and they're having a big fundraiser this Saturday. 100% of the proceeds go to the Wynn family, and the fundraiser will be at the Escape Dance, Karaoke, and Zumba Club at 2512 Overland in Burley, formerly Wheels, and it's going to be this Saturday from 3 to 11, and they're going to have a bounce house, karaoke, all kinds of fun things, and that is going to be at the Escape Dance and Karaoke Zumba Club at 2512 Overland in Burley this Saturday, so everybody try to be there. Help out, please. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Valley White Home and Ranch. Hey, this weekend is the big antique tractor show over at Valley White Home and Ranch. And come on in, take a look at all the tractors, and their customers will have a chance to vote on their favorite tractor. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have anniversary sale items going on over at Valley White Home and Ranch. You better stop in. And the Minico FFA is going to be over there cooking burgers, and 100% of the proceeds goes right back to the Minico FFA. So there you go. Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. They've got all the 4-H supplies. They've got all your health supplies for your livestock and cattle. They got the Gallagher fencing. They literally have what you need for the farm, the home, and the ranch. Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop over and see those good folks today. Really nice people. All right, today is Lunch Bunch Day, and I encourage everybody to be at Lunch Bunch, and we are going to be there at 11:30, so I will look forward to having you there at Denny's Restaurant. Oh, yes, it's absolutely phenomenal, and everybody that's gone to Lunch Bunch has commented, sent me letters, or called me on the phone and said, oh, we love that menu. Oh, we love that service. It's been phenomenal. Thomas and Terry, the whole crew at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. And don't forget, give somebody a gift card to Denny's. What a nice gift to get a gift card and share it with somebody else. The great food that's going on for breakfast, lunch, or dinner right there at Denny's Restaurant. You better believe it, 611 Overland in Burley. And Deanne says also we're going to have gift cards given out, hold it, from our friends at Hanson Mortuary, Smith's Food King, and Walmart. Our door prize gift card drawings for today at Denny's Restaurant. Zeb's Lunch Bunch, 11:30. Everybody be there. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had a lady talk to me the other day on the phone, and she said, Zeb, gosh, wouldn't it be great to get up in the morning and have nothing but good news that we could report on? And I thought, that really is the truth. It seems like we don't have any decency left in the world today. We don't have any caring left in the world today. We don't have any morality left in the world today. We don't have any right or wrong left in the world today. It seems like the world is falling apart and we have almost entire chaos. And to add to a little bit of what I'm talking about this morning, I do not understand. And I know that there's more pressing things going on than the logo and the name of a professional football team, i.e. the Washington Redskins. But it goes deeper than that. We are losing our freedoms. We are losing our right to say anything in the First Amendment. We're losing our Second Amendment rights, slowly but surely, the eroding of protecting ourselves. And little by little, the government, our government, the United States government, is taking over us and treating us like we're peons in a third world country. Now, going back to the Redskins for a minute. That name has been the name of that professional football team for over 75 years. Over 75 years. But now, in this politically correct society, with a politically left-leaning President Obama, and an extreme Majority Speaker Harry Reid, and Pelosi and others, they condemned it. And so thus, it is being condemned by the patent office, and they have canceled the logo patent for the Washington Redskins. Now just think for a minute. Stop. The United States government now is going to be the judge, jury, and executioner of what is right, what is wrong, what's acceptable, and what's unacceptable. This is nuts. And we're letting it happen. A 75-year-old name of a very prestigious football team. Very prestigious. And their logo that has done nothing but to honor Native Americans, or Indians, as I prefer to call them. I am not going to be politically correct. And this is atrocious that we are letting this happen. 90%, and I got to say this, 90% of all the Native Americans, i.e. Indians in this country and their tribes, are supportive of the name Redskins and their logo. So here we have 10% or less crying the blues and saying, well, no, that's a slam to us as Native Americans. Why, we've got to change that. And you know what? It's nothing more than a frivolous lawsuit for control and money and to bring down Daniel Snyder and his football team. Now, where does it end? Where does it end? Does it go next to the Atlanta Braves? Does it go then to the Cleveland Indians? Does it go then to the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team? Where does it end? Who is going to decide? Answer this question, audience. Who is going to decide what is acceptable and what is not acceptable from that juncture on? The government? Well, they seem to be in first place. Give me a call. What are your thoughts about this? It's very serious this morning. Very serious that the government, can basically give a nod and a wink to the patent office and cancel the patent rights on that name, Redskins, and their logo, etc., and basically destroy a business that has been a business for over 75 years. Your thoughts? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, be right there. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And with the warmer temperatures coming up this weekend, I absolutely tell you, you better go get a new air filter for your air conditioner. Dirty air conditioning filter will only cause you trouble, and you will not be cool. So stop in and see them today. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, or call ahead and they'll have your electrical order waiting for you at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Yes, the politically correct police of our government. I mean, it's a violation of our private property rights, which belong to the Washington Redskins, and of course that's one of the planks of the Communist Manifesto is to abolition of private property. And look what EPA is doing with the guy down there in Fort Bridger that you had on your program. Excellent program, by the way.
Thank you.
And I tell you, where's it going to end? When are we going to put a stop to it? But our politicians back there in Washington just seem to say, well, I guess, they slap them on the wrist and so forth. But it's just ridiculous what's happened in this country. And everything has to be politically correct. And, of course, I just was down in Utah, in the politically correct global warming climate change thing. There was quite a lot of snow up there in the hills, and beautiful for photography, but not so good as far as the climate's concerned. Just look at the political correctness and what it's done to this country to destroy the very fabric of our free enterprise system, property rights, etc.
Let me just jump in here, Adrian. Let's just go ahead in a couple minutes. And caller number 2, don't leave. I'll be right with you, I promise. Let's just say another team. Let's go the other side of the coin. How about the Green Bay Packers? Now, the Packers got their name from a meat packing company way back in the early of the 20th century. Now, are the environmentalists and are the animal rights activists, are they going to go after the Green Bay Packers because it refers to a rendering plant for meat? Are they going to cancel their name?
Well, like I said, there's no end to where they could go with this thing. With the Redskins, somebody come up with, there's a potato variety, the Redskins,
yes,
you can buy at the store, of course, and we grow those in Idaho. And how about having a potato mascot and call it the Redskins? No, I'm being facetious, of course, because it's unbelievable where we've gone in our lifetimes. You and I are, in the same vintage, I think, or close to it.
Yep, that's right.
And it's unbelievable that we've allowed this kind of nonsense to go on. It is nonsense. There's no science behind the global warming hoax. There's no science behind or reason for the Redskins to change their name or any of this kind of nonsense. The EPA comes out with rules that have no scientific backing. They've admitted that as much, but it's politically correct to do what they do.
All right, I got to run, Adrian. I got a string of calls, but I do appreciate you weighing in on this. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a good day.
Yeah, let's take a stand, folks.
You bet. He's spot on. We need to take a stand. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget the Silver State Stampede. We're going to be there. You'd better be there, too. Elko, Nevada, Elko County Fairgrounds, July 10, 11, and 12. It is going to be ripping good fun with the kickoff party on July 10th. And then, of course, along with the kickoff party, a lot of good eating with a tri-tip dinner, and then the Old West Bronc ride. And then on Friday and Saturday night, the PRCA rodeo with the Ring of Fear, dancing, everything else at the 2014 Silver State Stampede in Elko, Nevada at the Elko County Fairgrounds. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dad. I was just going to let you know that Pepsi Cola is going to have the Pledge of Allegiance on their can, that they're leaving out One Nation Under God, and with them doing that, I am boycotting their product.
All right, now, I did not hear in the beginning of your call, who did you say was doing this?
Pepsi Cola.
You mean to tell me that Pepsi Cola has eliminated Under God on the Pledge of Allegiance on their cans?
Yep, for the 4th of July weekend. this year, and I am boycotting their product because of it.
All right, now I'm always very careful, sir, and you can understand why, that everything is verified, bona fide facts. Sometimes on the internet you hear and read things that aren't true. How do you know that is true?
I believe it is. I'm not really sure, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and they aren't happy with it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. You verify it. I'm going to put the onus on you to verify it, check it out, and call me back. And I will not denigrate anybody or any business until I find out 1,000% that it's true, okay? You verify it and call me back.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That's the one thing I will not do on this program. There are other talk show hosts that will jump in and go, oh my, that's terrible. Well, wait a minute. I'm not going to denigrate a product or a person or a company or a group until I verify that that is a fact. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Really, when you think about it, who is going to draw the line on acceptable or unacceptable, politically correct or incorrect? You can go right down the line. Look at the San Diego Padres. Look at the San Diego Padres baseball team. Now, there are those in our society that say, well, no, wait a minute, we can't go along with the Padres because that's a religious connotation, and therefore we want that name changed. Honestly, you think I might be off my rocker bringing some of these up, but this could happen. This could very well happen. The San Diego Padres, Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Indians, or how about the New England Patriots? Now, there are those in this country that say, oh, no, we don't want to associate with Patriots. Maybe we want to stay away from that. Patriots mean warmongers. Patriots mean they picked up their guns and they fought and they killed. We got to change that name. I'm telling you, there are kooks and crackpots out there that believe this. So where do you draw the line? Give me a call. Please let me know. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Gina, let's check with Gina and see if we got Jim McCall on the line. Is he ready to go?
No, I was just getting ready to dial.
All righty.
I'll call right now.
All right, and we have another call? I'll take that call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
What about the Land O'Lakes their mascot deal?
All right. Tell the audience what you're referring to.
To the Indian girl that's on the Land O'Lakes butter?
Yep.
I mean, this thing can go on and on. PC correctness is going to be the downfall of this nation.
Doug, I'll make a bet with you, and I've said this before on the radio, and I'm going to stand behind this. I will make a bet of a steak dinner with you that there is one college, a major university, that they will not touch on this PC correctness because they're afraid of them, and that is the Florida State Seminoles. And they are a big-time college with big-time football programs, etc., and the reason they won't touch them is because the Seminole Indian tribe is making too doggone much money off the logo and the moniker and also the trinkets and the souvenirs. They won't touch them.
No, they won't. They won't at all. But since when is a minority the rule of this nation?
Well, your point is so well taken, and I've said it on this program 1,000 times, that we're listening to a couple of crybabies, namely in this case Obama, Reid, and some others. Oh, we got to take it down. Why, we can't have that anymore. Why, that's a disgrace, etc. And a very, very small percentage of people have cried the blues against the 90% that are in favor of it, and it's almost 100% with the whites and other races and ethnicities in this country that are supportive of the Redskins. But that doesn't matter. These little bitty worms are the ones that are causing the trouble.
Exactly. And besides that, Congress and our administration have deeper problems than being politically correct on a football team.
That is my point this morning exactly.
I mean, we elect them to represent us back there, not to tell us what to do.
Amen. Doug, I'm way late on my break, but I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. Yeah. God bless. Right now, let's go to Jim McCall, Travel Lube Supply. Jim, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Zeb. Doing good. How are you?
Well, not too bad. Naturally, we're having another big discussion here this morning, but I wanted to get you on and talk about Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn. Number to call, 438-8730. Tell us what's going on.
You bet. Hey, come in today and tell Heather you heard it on the radio. You buy an oil filter, I will give you one for your pickup. That's the same cost or less free.
Wow. So, in other words, say that again. If they go in and looking for oil filters for your pickup, and they buy one, they get one free, is that what you said?
For your truck or your pickup or whatever, I will give you another one of equal or less value for free.
Oh, my goodness, you can't beat that with a stick. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jim McCall, the owner, telling you about oil filters. Go in and buy one. They'll give you another one. Same value, free at Travel Lube Supply. Wow, what else you got cooking over there real quick?
Well, don't forget we clean air filters. We'll come pick them up from you, get them cleaned, and bring them back. You can save over up to half on those air filters. And if you're going through a bunch of them, this is a way to save a lot of money through the year.
There is the man, my dear friend Jim McCall of Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn. You heard it, folks, 438-8730. Jim, God bless you. And please, Jim, after the program, give me a call. I need to visit with you about an entirely different matter, okay?
You bet.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. God bless. Travel Lube Supply. You heard Jim say oil filters for your truck, your pickups. You buy one, and he'll give you another one free. Travel Lube Supply. Quickly, here comes the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. Hong Kong's decision to fully reopen its market to U.S. beef shows the industry's safeguards against disease are working to build international demand. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association says U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack announced June 17th that Hong Kong agreed to new terms that will lead to expanded exports of American beef to that city-state. Hong Kong will accept a full range of beef products as it did before December 2003, when bovine spongiform encephalopathy was found in a California dairy cow and closed many international markets to U.S. beef. Previously, only deboned beef from all cattle and certain bone-in beef from cattle less than 30 months of age can be shipped to Hong Kong. For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
All right, give us a call, 436-2244-1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear what you have to say. I sit back and I just I'm in awe. I guess that's a good word for this situation. I'm in awe as to how silly, stupid, and absolutely gullible we are as a populace when you have the likes of like Al Gore. Here we go again, Fat Albert. Fat Albert is back in the news. Did you hear what he said? Al Gore said that the problems in Syria with their people uprising against Assad's killing government is because of global warming. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, Al Gore, remember, he's such a genius, the father and innovator of the internet, and also the perpetrator of global warming and climate change, and now he says that the problem in Syria with the people uprising against Assad's government is because of global warming. You can't possibly write down this stuff and be any crazier than he is. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Last week I was talking to Wyatt Prescott for the Idaho Cattlemen's Association, who's been on your program numerous times, and we were talking about environmental issues. And he was telling me how the Canadian government has literally went full circle from completely environmentally crazy to extremely environmentally practical, and how they are grazing as hard and as fast as they can to prevent burning of the forest fires, and also they are extracting oil and natural gas as fast as they can. He was telling me
that here we have what we call a riparian zone, which is a buffer zone when you get down next to a creek or a river or whatever, a lake. Up there, they are literally paying these guys, these cattlemen, to run these cattle through the creek bed so they create a place for these fish to spawn. Mm-hmm. It is truly amazing what he was telling me about how far the Canadian government has come full circle. Literally, they do not want the cattle not to go to the creek. They want them to go down and drink and create places for these fish to spawn. The insanity, environmental insanity of America, there is no else on this earth where we are doing this kind of thing except for here in America. And it's amazing that we are sitting here on our dead you-know-whats and allowing this to occur to our country.
You know, I really appreciate your dissertation on this and how you presented that, because I'm so glad our Canadian friends to the north, and I know many people up there in various parts of Canada that are good friends of mine, and they're just basically telling the environmentalists, and they're basically saying to the rest of the world, listen, we're not going to be cowed into political correctness or be told what to do by a bunch of tree huggers and wackos. We're going to do things the way it is right for us and our economy, and I really respect what they're doing up there.
Well, this is the thing. Wyatt told me that we're 10 years behind them, so he says they have wised up, and they are, hey, the Canadian government, the Canadian economy is flourishing. They did not go through this stupid thing like we did. You know, if you go by, for instance, OSB, which is, you know, a four-made sheet of OSB, it's all, if I'm not mistaken, it's all made in Canada.
Yeah.
You buy lumber, it's made, you know, not everything comes from Canada. But they're shipping stuff down here as fast as they can ship it. And we're buying it. And here it's sitting here. Like I said, in the past in Idaho County, we literally lost on the stump $369 billion, $1 million worth of timber and retail. You take that $369 million and times it times 5, that's what it retailed for, and that kind of economy boosting thing we lost.
That's right, Randy.
Here in just one county in Idaho.
I agree. Hey, listen, I got a stack of calls, but everything you said this morning I appreciate, because I'm going to be getting Wyatt on the air and talk about this. Thank you very much. Hey, caller, I know you're waiting. I'll be right there with you. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, these guys are good, and ladies, too. Barry Equipment and Rental has 3 locations: Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln, Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Nick and the crew. They've got all the Coyote tractors. They got all the Bobcats. They got Bobcats all over the place. Bobcat excavators, industry's leading power and breakout force with the Bobcat. Get the job done. Schedule a demo today with Nick over in Burley or Eli in Twin Falls. Absolutely. Whether you're buying or leasing, you better check it out today at Barry Equipment and Rental. Locations in Twin, Jerome, and on Highway 30 in Burley. Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Something I'd like to say about the Native American or Indian reservations, as opposed to letting somebody use their logos and make money. I think if you were to cross any Indian reservation in the United States and ask the people if they would rather have their names become famous and they get to enjoy the profits off of their franchise, as opposed to sitting on some of the Indian reservations in our country, it's time to close those up and let the Indian people decide about their own future. And this business of political correctness, as far as I'm concerned, is killing the Native American population in our country.
I could not agree more. And it's really interesting because being in the business I'm in the rodeo business, I know a lot of... And you know, here's another thing, Chris. Native Americans, that offends me to a certain degree, and I'll tell you why. Were you born here in this country?
Uh-huh.
All right, what are you?
I'm a Native American.
Yeah, we all are, that were born here.
Yeah.
And to give special allegiance or to give special tokens of appreciation to certain aspects of our society, that's wrong. The Indians, are no more native than I am. I was born here also. They were called Indians. That's what I will call. And I have great respect for the various Indian tribes. I have announced the Indian National Finals on numerous occasions. I have a lot of respect, whether they're the Blackfeet tribe, the Sioux tribe, I don't care. Iroquois, it doesn't make any difference to me. They have been very friendly to me, and I enjoy being with them. Now, that being said, there is just a handful of people that are trying to raise rabble-rousing trouble against the Washington Redskins, but yet their voices are being heard.
Yes, and the problem is the people who are supposedly taking the side of, well, the Indians and hoping to elevate them, they're not elevating them. They're just pushing them down that much more. And we owe them the opportunity that the rest of us have had. And if they can make money off of the name of their tribe, more power to them.
I have never seen, and I grew up back in Wisconsin, and at that time, before they moved to Atlanta, the Milwaukee Braves baseball team absolutely paid great tribute with the tomahawks and the uniforms and the tribute to the Indians, and there was nothing degrading or whatever, as there is not with the Cleveland Indians, as there is not with Florida State Seminoles, as there is not with the Kansas City Chiefs football team. I am sick and tired of people going around and being nothing more than paid troublemakers to disrupt our society.
Yes, and when Mr. Reed speaks up, I'm telling you, he's such a mouse, and he talks about the Native Americans, quote-unquote, or Indians, you should see the reservation that's in his state. Why isn't he trying to get them off of there and elevate their lifestyle and work with them to better their lives?
I agree, but, you know, I'll go back and I want to ask you this real quick, and I got a weather forecast, but how high is up? In other words, how far does this thing go? If they're going to cancel the patent rights and the logo rights of the Washington Redskins and basically try to force a name change, what about these other teams? What about the Cleveland Indians? What about the Atlanta Braves? What about the Florida State Seminoles? I mean, what about the New England Patriots? What about the Green Bay Packers? What about other names of San Diego Padres? Where do you stop this insanity?
Well, it's just like asking us all to empty out our pockets and help them fight off a government that is not going to even pay attention to them. And look at the local the teams in all of the high schools and what have you around the United States. This is trickle down communism.
Absolutely. And it's so much more. Really, it is so much more than just a name and possibly an offensive logo to some. It's government control. It's bureaucracy telling us what we can and can't do and can't say. And it's absolutely so much more than just forcing someone to change the name of a football team.
Right. No, it's wrong. And if America, who loves sports and we love to cheer our favorite team, is forced to change the names of their teams, they're just basically taking loyalty out of our blood.
Chris, always thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm just really worried about this. I know. You don't have to remind me. I know that there are more earth-shattering things to discuss this morning in the world standing, but basically this is a major part of what's going on and wrong in our society, that we are allowing to grow and encroach like a cancerous amoebic cell. And we're letting it grow through government to where we don't want you to eat that. So we're going to stop the production of that food. Well, we don't want you to drive that, so we're going to stop the production of that car. We don't want you to wear that. It offends some people, so we're going to stop the production of that garment. We don't like that name or that verbiage, so we're going to stop that. The government is just basically turning into a Gestapo unit, and that offends and affects all of us. Caller, please have the patience with me to allow me to do the weather real quick. I'll be right with you, I promise. The weather is brought to you by Burley Glass, 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hello, Gentle Ben. Hello, Leslie. Hello, everybody at Burley Glass. All you have to do is remember they're working hard to provide great service to all the communities in Magic Valley. And summer is here. Update your windows before the cold weather comes back. Talk to Burley Glass, 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-1459. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hi there, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Daylight hours is not really a big thing in the lower 48 for some folks, but if you're keeping score at home, you're going to be hitting about 15 hours of daylight, and by Monday you'll start to lose it, and you will continue to lose it all the way to December 21st, which is known as the first day of winter. There'll be a quiz on this Monday morning. Otherwise, you got a nice weekend. Sunny all the way across the board. 77 for the high today. Gets up into the mid-80s pretty much throughout the weekend, all the way through Sunday. And you get to start out a work week with a little bit of daylight loss, but some nice sunny weather and temperatures in the mid-80s. So, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Burley Glass with our dear friends, Gentle Ben, Leslie the Crew, 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-1459. Burley Glass, working hard to provide great service to all the communities in the Magic Valley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening to it, and that team has been around since 1933. That makes them 80 years old. So just leave them alone. Us old-timers don't need your crap.
When you say you're talking about me?
No. Did I mention Zeb Bell?
Well, you said and then you said that, and I thought maybe you were talking about something I had said, so I was defining how you meant that.
I got you jumpy again, ain't I?
Yes, you did, and I'm very touchy about this morning.
And I think I better correct Chris, because the money from that stuff doesn't go to Indian reservations. That goes into the Redskins organization.
Wait a minute. I don't think she said that it goes into the Red.
That's what I said. I might have misunderstood.
Yeah.
Because that's what it come across as.
No, here's the thing, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, Al. The simple solution, I think, should have been this. For the small amount and percentage of crybabies that were yelling political correctness, if I were Daniel Snyder, I would have called them into my office. I would have sat down with them and looked them in the eye and say, okay, we have had the logo for this team and the trademark for 80 years. Now, what's it going to take for you to be happy and appeased and leave us alone? And they could have thrown something out like maybe a percentage of the sales of sweatshirts or jerseys or whatever, and I'll guarantee you the dollar bill crossing the table would have shut these people up.
Well, there again, I don't think that'd be right, because it's just a bunch of little teeny crybabies that are probably half-breeds anyway.
Well, wait a minute, though. It would have been right, though, because he shouldn't have to change the name. He shouldn't be coerced by the government demanding that he change the name, and he shouldn't have the patent office side up to Obama, Reed, and others and cancel something that is an American business, a respected American business, and yet the government's putting the kibosh on it.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. I'll bet it gets sold out again like it did about 1998 or something like that. They tried that again, and they got thrown out of court.
I believe it was 1993, and I could be wrong on the year, but I will say this. If they are forced and coerced, and I said this yesterday, and I mean it, if they're coerced to change the name, I will always on this program refer to them as the Washington Redskins.
I will, too.
All right, Al, thanks.
See you at lunch.
Yep. God bless. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget Four Paws Bed and Bath, 370 West 200 south of Rupert. Number to call 438 bit my tongue 4444. That hurts. All right. They're offering free pickup and delivery to the senior citizens that need their dogs groomed, boarded, or for daycare. So that is really nice. All you have to do is just call them at 438-4444. And anybody else who wants to use their services, they got a neat van all painted up and everything. They do pickup and delivery for everybody else at a minimal cost of $15 round trip or $10 one way. They take care of your dogs and kitty cats. Yes, sirree. Four Paws Bed and Bath, 370 West 200 south of Rupert, 438-4444. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, this total deal, I've seen some pictures on the TV of the Indians up there protesting and stuff like that with the things, and it comes right down to the government has paid somebody to stand there and hold a sign.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely right.
Well,
no, you're absolutely right, Kilt, man. The hypocrisy of what's going on here with the government involvement and the condemnation of let's not call it a football team, let's call it a business. I mean, look at what they do for the community. Look at all the outreach that they give away as charitable events, all the players involved in community outreach programs. I mean, this is a big, big deal. And for the government to come in and say, nope, even after 80 years, we're going to cancel your logo because we, the government, and a very small minority find it offensive, and we're going to bring you down to your knees.
Well, the thing is like the other callers say, this is just another way to get control over us. If they can bring down a major corporation like that to their knees, what are they going to do to the rest of us?
Yeah, and Jeff, follow this and give me an answer. Where is the end? Once you open the Pandora's box of saying, okay, oh boy, we're sorry. Yeah, we'll change the name. We're going to call ourselves the Washington Tree Huggers just to appease you. Where's the end? Are they going to go after the Patriots? Are they going to go after the Padres? Are they going to go after the Packers? Are they going to go after the Indians? Are they going to go after the Braves? Sure they are.
Well, that's just it. It's a never-ending story. If they can get it here, then they'll just move on somewhere else and keep jumping around. And the other thing is, all they're doing is trying to bring up something else that everybody loves to get their minds off of other things. I mean, how many things have come up since we brought up the Benghazi deal?
That's right.
I mean, how many things have jumped out there on everybody's face so we were thinking about something else?
All these stories are, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, are nothing more than smoke screens to cover up the real value of news and a very poor political administration.
And that's the other thing. News isn't what it used to be.
Bingo.
News used to be something that we could trust, that we could listen to, get some good information out of it and stuff. I don't even watch the major channels anymore because it's just nothing but disgust me with the stuff they bring up. They're not bringing up the important things. Well, they do bring up, it's all censored as to what they want us to hear.
Well, Jeff, your point is really good, Kilt, man. Here's the reason I want to talk about this for just a second. That ABC, CBS, and NBC, but more so ABC and NBC, have not even covered the crisis on the border with the kids. They're protecting Obama. They're protecting his immigration reform, and they haven't carried yet, as of last night, any stories about these kids coming in from South America.
That's true. That's true. And the thing is, it's, like I said, it's a major story. It's a major problem in this country. And what are they doing? They're going after a major football team over something really, really lame.
Absolutely. Listen, hey, man, I appreciate it. Kilt, man, while I got you on the air real quick, I got to do this fast. I can't beleaguer it. First annual Iron Kilt Festival is going to be Saturday, June 28th, and it's going to be over at South Freedom Park, and it's going to be a fun deal, right?
You got it. You got it. We got more and more competitors signing up all the time, so we're up to 20-plus competitors coming in to compete.
All right.
It's an all-day event, and let the family enjoy it.
All right, Kilt, man. God bless you, man. Thanks much for your call.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. You betcha. That's going to be quite a deal over there in Burley on the 28th. I want to take some more calls. Give us a call, 436-2244. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, all the tires for your driving needs, for all your vehicles, for your trailers, like your horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. I mean, they've got all your tires. And they've got all the knowledge of tireology, so they can tell you exactly which ones are going to do the best job for your type of driving. And the best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts. And don't forget, the best in batteries. I mean, it's all there, just waiting for you, and the best of service. They really, really care. And they'll put you out on the road safely. They've got easy credit plans to choose from, and all the great locations right here in the Magic Valley. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist Family and Paul, John on Pole Line and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, real quick. I've got 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, Zeb. Here we've got Nero was fiddling there when Rome burned, and here we've got Barack Obama was on the golf course when the southern border was being invaded. This guy is asleep at the wheel again, and we cannot stand another 24 months of Obama. He's got to go before then.
I agree, and I was not kidding. Yesterday I mentioned I'm going to have a petition at my lunch bunch today to eliminate and destroy, through leaving office, Obama's administration, because he is absolutely corrupt. He has performed with a dereliction of duty. He's incompetent and gross negligence, lying, fraud, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to have that petition start today at Lunch Bunch.
Okay, Zeb. Get it signed up there and get it going.
God bless you, Tony. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye.
Gina, get on the microphone just for a second, would you please? There. Is she there?
What's up?
I am going to have Deanne try to email you a copy of a picture that when you receive this picture, I have a feeling that you will all of a sudden have the wheels on your chair fly backwards, and you will go, oh my goodness! And you will be in total awe and shock of what we are about ready to show you. So get ready. Hold on tight. I'm going to have Deanne send this over to you.
Okay. And so are we going to... Sometimes it takes a few minutes, and so... hold on a second.
It's not coming yet, but it will be shortly. And I tell you what, when you see it, we will have to handle the verbiage of such picture with great caution.
Okay. Well,
I'll even go with that.
I'm anticipating the email then.
Believe me, when I saw it, the first thing I wanted to do was get sick, and secondarily, I thought, how do we solve this problem? I'll let you have your own verbiage in just a little while. Thank you. I'm going to take a break for 6 minutes. I'll be right back. Zeb at the Ranch. Thank you very much to our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Before we go to the Chamber Report, I want to remind everybody, too, about our dear friends, Vicky's Country Garden. Don't forget, we're going to be talking to them in a little bit later on this morning. And lovely Vicky teaching me all about gardening. And I also want to remind you about Handsome Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, owner-manager, always serving you and your family with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Please remember the number to call, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. They will help you. And if you have a problem trying to get into their office and visit about funeral arrangements, they will come to you. Please call them. Handsome Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. Right now, let's go to the phone lines, and I believe we have the lovely Kay Cameron from the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning, Zeb.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic, as I look forward to a warmer weekend, hopefully without wind, and temperatures in the 80s, so everything looks really good.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend, and I just want all the listeners out there to I hope you all have an opportunity to get out there and do something fabulous in our community, whether it's participate in an event or go exploring, go hiking, go camping, but just enjoy the beauty of our community and be safe and enjoy the beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. Now, are there any specials that you would like to mention, any special doings this weekend or going into next week?
Well, coming into next week, and that's kind of what I want to talk about, we've got the Idaho Regatta coming up, and what a great event for our community. It really is a fabulous event. It brings in a lot of people to our community. It's a great opportunity for us as a community to really shine and welcome all of the people that come from all over the place. They come from out of state, across country,
to participate in the event. So what a great opportunity for us as a community to welcome them and to shine and to just be proud of our community and let them be a part of it.
Very well stated. Well, you sound like a director of a Chamber of Commerce.
Funny, that seems to be my job. So,
okay.
But no, it's a great event. I hope people get the opportunity to go out and participate and to watch the event. And like I said, it's a great opportunity if you haven't had a chance to get out and kind of spiff up your business front or your properties to do so, and just make it look tip-top shape so that it's a nice, clean area, and people notice that about our community, and it's great that they come here.
You know, one thing I'd like to mention real quick is that if there are history buffs out in the audience and they want to know about the history of the old days, the old West right here, there's a lot of things to study and brush up on all over Magic Valley, isn't there?
Absolutely. We have a lot of historical sites. And so there really is a lot of history here. We have a lot of people that come into our office that are traveling the Oregon Trail or the California Trail and looking for information. We have a lot of great museums. And so it's just, we have a lot to offer. Also with the arts and everything, but a lot of history here in our community.
Absolutely. Anything else? Now, one thing I want people to realize is that your office over there at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, it is really unique because you've got so many great gift-giving items, even for people that live here and want to go over there and are sending maybe gifts back to somebody that's a relative in Vermont or Florida or whatever. You've got a lot of neat things over there.
We do have a lot of nice gifts. In fact, we just had a lady in our office just the other day that said, what a great gift shop. And I'm so glad that I found it and that you have this to offer to the community. And we do. We have a lot of Idaho souvenirs. She was traveling, I think, to Florida and was taking souvenirs with her and some gifts with her. And so that's just something that we have. We have things that are not for just people traveling through, but for people who live here as well. We want to serve everybody.
Absolutely. Kate, tell everybody how they can get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce for more information on what's happening right here in Southern Idaho.
Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Havern, right on the beautiful Snake River. Give us a call at 208-679-4793, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.
Very well done.
Calendar of events at MinneCasiaChamber.com.
There you go. Kay Cameron, Director of the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and we'll have her on the air next Thursday. Thanks, Kay. Have a good week.
Thanks. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you much. Hey, I'll tell you an event that's coming up during July, the first week of July. Guess what it is? It's Rupert's 4th of July celebration, and the theme this year, Let Freedom Ring. Oh, my goodness. They're going to kick everything off on July 1st with a great big Christmas in July breakfast at 6 o'clock. That's going to be right there in the park. And then, of course, they're going to have the best of entertainment. One of the things that was said last year, wow, the great entertainers and performers that they had during the Rupert 4th of July celebration. And don't forget, they're going to have great specialty events like on July 3rd, the Firecracker 500 lawnmower races at the fairgrounds, and they're going to have summer nights at the Wilson Theater, and they're going to have excellent food. You want to eat? Oh, my, are they going to have food booths? They're going to have a family rodeo at the fairgrounds on the 4th of July at 8 p.m. So much more going on all the way July 1 through July 5. Rupert's 4th of July celebration, Let Freedom Ring. Don't you miss it. Going to be a lot of fun. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line. And we are going to welcome on our program the lady guru of gardening and the know-all of landscaping. This is the lovely Miss Vicki of Vicki's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. How are you, Miss Vicki?
Well, Zeb, it's a little nicer morning than it was yesterday morning, so the sun's out and we're not out here under an umbrella or soaked to the skin with rain, but we needed the rain. I'm not complaining.
Well, I went by your operation the other night and at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, and I noticed that you've got, I'll call them bins, bin after bin after bin of all the necessary material for beautifying and landscaping your property. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, we've got all the bark in, 4 different bins of rock in, if you don't want to mess with bark, so the rock doesn't blow away like bark does. And so we've got all different price ranges in rock, and yeah, we've got the weed net and everything to put down, pretty much everything to get your landscaping done, or if you're just sprucing up for the 4th of July, we've got everything to get that done. So we've got a good selection of petunias to put down that are blooming nice for some instant color. And we've got the ornamental grasses. We've got all types of stuff, plus all of the landscaping supplies. So whatever they need, we've got it.
Okay, now I had a caller the other day after our program, and this lady said that she was relatively new to this area. Her and her husband had moved in from back east where they had an apartment, and now they've bought a little place, and they are absolutely unknowledgeable about what to do to make their lawn and their backyard more aesthetic and beautiful. And she said, what kind of tips can you give first-time property owners on what to do about landscaping?
Well, you kind of have to, they just need to kind of come in and talk to me and give you an idea of what they've already got in place. A lot of times, it's just a matter of some fertilization, getting things, some nutrient down so that they can perk up and do what they need to do, some pruning, some trimming, you know, that type of thing to kind of get things to reflesh out and to do what they're supposed to do. But we help people all the time here. If they want to bring pictures in, that works fine. We have a lot of people bring pictures on their phones and stuff like that of certain problem areas, and then we can help them work through what needs to be done. But a lot of times it's just a matter of pruning, cleaning out of some of the dead stuff in there, and then putting down some good fertilizer and giving the plants a chance to come back and do this, you know, get back up to what they're supposed to be.
Absolutely. You know, when people buy their first home and they want to do a little landscaping, let's say in the backyard, or in our case, we did it all 4 points of the compass at our place, you can really experiment and have a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff, can't you?
Well, you can, and, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, and so, you know, they think they have to have, you know, somebody come in and do it for them. And I always like to work with people and say, well, what do you like? And, you know, I tell people, take the plants that you like, make sure they're going to work in the sun or the shade or whatever area you're doing, and then set them around before you plant them. Step back and take a look at it and say, do I like that look, or do I want to change that? Do I want more height over here? Do I want it over here? And just kind of keep shuffling them around until you get a look that you like, because you're the one paying for it and you're the one looking at it.
Absolutely. We also had a lady call in prior to the program this morning, and she said, help, when you talk to Vicki, ask her what in the world we can do. She called them mushrooms, but I think it's kind of a fungus or whatever growing on the lawn. They look like mushrooms, but don't eat them, right?
No, don't eat them, but they are mushrooms, but it's the fact that the lawns are too wet. Everybody's been watering up. We had a little warm spell, but nobody remembers that the nights have been staying cool, so we really haven't needed as much water as a lot of people are using right now, especially now that we've had that 2 days of rain. That's kind of helped out a little bit there, too. But on mushrooms and stuff, just kind of back the water off a little bit and dry them up, and they'll go away. As soon as it gets really hot, we start hitting some 95 and 100-degree days, you'll see those mushrooms shrivel up and go away.
Okay.
They like it cool and damp. They don't like it hot and dry.
All right, you know, and no matter what we do on this program or what we talk about, I'm always getting people to say, bugs. What are we doing to get rid of these bugs? What have you got ideas on bugs?
Well, there's, you know, you're going to have to start spraying. Aphids are pretty thick this year. Of course, a lot of the hay is down. And so, therefore, they have to go somewhere to eat, so they usually move into the yards and the gardens at that point in time. There's a product called Spinosad that is an excellent product that you can use on flowers and vegetables and fruit trees and all that type of thing. We still have some of the 7, even though 7 has been taken off the market, we still have some of it that can be used, and that's a good, safe product that can be, you know, that can be used in yards and gardens and things like that. But it's going to take a lot of spraying, and for the crawling insects that are, we've been having trouble with slugs and earwigs and snails and things of that nature, that's when you can put down the granules or the diatomaceous earth, which is an all-natural no chemical, but it's a very good product. You can dust your plants. You can put it on the ground. It doesn't hurt anybody other than the little critter crawling through it. So.
You know, we mentioned this.
Just a few of the things.
We mentioned on, I think it was last week's program, or possibly the week before, that it seems like the EPA and government control and regulations really is in favor of the bugs and the varmints instead of helping people grow their gardens. Isn't that true?
Well, it's kind of looking that way, yeah. They're wanting everything to be, they have to have everything to be so safe that it's even safe for the bugs anymore. So, I mean, it's kind of gotten to be a bad situation, but hopefully, I mean, there's still going to be a few products out that are still going to do a job. It's just going to take a little more attentiveness. You're going to have to get on things a little earlier, watch for them a little better, and hit them a little harder with what we do have. That's basically about the best thing. And we are seeing a lot of light showing in tomatoes right now. And this rain's going to bring it on even harder. So get your fungicides out and just get started spraying your tomatoes right now so that the blight doesn't get in. But we're seeing on a daily basis people coming in with blight on their tomatoes already for about the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So
all right, and I want to stress...
Prepared. As soon as it warms up, it's going to just explode.
All right, and I want to stress the fact that anything and everything they need for their gardens or their landscaping are right there at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. All right, Vicky, give us a little commercial about all the goodies you've got over there.
Well, we've still got tomatoes, we've still got peppers, we've got vegetables, we've got all kinds of pretty blooming flowers, we've got all kinds of things. So just come in and see us and we'll help you with a problem, or we'll just help you figure out what you need to plant and get everything spruced up and ready for the big 4th of July that's coming up.
All right, there she is, the lady that is the lady guru of gardening and landscaping, Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, or call her at 438-5663. Vicky, God bless. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty, then. Thanks.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you very much. A couple of public service announcements real quick. I want to remind everybody the Oregon Trail muzzleloaders are going to have their 33rd annual rendezvous, and that's going to be coming up this weekend up at the Chatburn Ranch in Albion, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Take you back into the days of old with the mountain men. Oregon Trail muzzleloaders up on the hill at Albion this weekend at the Chatburn Ranch. Everybody try to be there. And also, on a very serious note to help out, there's a local family that just absolutely lost everything in a very serious fire. And we're trying to do all we can along with others. I know Gina's helped out. A lot of people at the station have helped out in regards to the Wynn family. Janelle Wynn and her 4 kids, they lost everything in a fire. And there's going to be a big fundraiser this Saturday with 100% of the proceeds going to help them, and it's going to be at the Escape Dance, Karaoke, and Zumba Club at 2512 Overland Avenue in Burley, and it's going to be Saturday from 3 to 11 p.m., and it's going to be with a bounce house, karaoke, dancing, all kinds of things. Please help this family, the Wynn family. They lost everything in that tragic fire, so help them this Saturday. Also want to remind you about our friends at Let's Ride. Yeah, buddy. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Summer hours open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. And they've got, have you been there? Honestly, if you opened the showroom door and just stood inside and went, holy cow, look at all these ATVs. I mean, they're all over the place. And all the different colors and sizes. Wow. Along with the Can-Am side-by-sides, rebates, and great financing. What are you waiting for? Get over there and just treat yourself to a little fun. That's where the fun is sold. Let's Ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. And they got a great service department, too, at Let's Ride. Okay, let's see what else have we got cooking here. Later on this morning, we are naturally going to be headed to Lunch Bunch at 11:30. I want to remind everybody, Lunch Bunch at 11:30 today at Denny's Restaurant. And we got door prizes thanks to Walmart, Smith's Food King, and Handsome Mortuary. Everybody be there. It is going to be an outstanding Lunch Bunch today at Denny's Restaurant. Please, we'll look forward to seeing you there. And last but not least, I also want to mention our friends at Cameron Siemens Insurance. Hello, Dean. Hello, Todd, as they sit there at their desk serving you. That's right, dedicated and responsive to your needs. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, Cameron and Siemens Insurance with the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning ideas, employee benefits. They are accessible and devoted to serving you. Highway 24 in Rupert, Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Call for an appointment today at 436-4424. Holy buckets! Who let all these dogs out anyway? They're all over the place. Somebody go grab that Doberman. Get the poodle off the table, would you please? Holy smokes, here's Officer Ken Mort. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Actually, Mort is actually doing his job today, so he had to go out north of Rupert and wrangle up some dogs. But he did let me know that they wanted to feature Kiwi today. Now, Kiwi she's a beautiful, lovely husky. She is mostly white, then she's got, the black fur on top. Beautiful eyes. She's about a year old. She is house-trained. She loves to ride in cars, and she gets along great with people and other dogs. I'm not quite sure with cats. Because obviously they don't have any cats at the shelter. She does need a little bit of training as far as, the sit, the stay, the basic commands, because she's been running loose for quite a while out in the North Meridian area in Rupert. She's got all of her shots. She's ready to go. She is looking for her forever home. So if you'd like to check out Kiwi, who is a beautiful-looking female husky, just contact the Minidoka Joint Animal Control Shelter at 438-2200 or Officer Ken Mort at 670-7268. And Officer Mort also wanted me to remind everybody that since 4th of July is just around the corner, you can already see all of the fireworks stands going up. When people start lighting off fireworks, dogs, most animals in general, are very, very afraid of the sound and the lights. My dog included. So when the 4th of July comes around, don't leave your dogs outside. Make sure that they get inside. They're in a safe environment. Most dogs, when the loud pops and booms and bangs are going on, they like to hide underneath something.
Right,
my dog
absolutely
hides underneath my bed.
Yep.
And so a lot of dogs come up missing over the 4th of July weekend because they get scared, so they run away, and then owners have to be reunited with their pets.
Absolutely. I'm really glad you commented on that, because I know that all the dogs we've had, the minute they hear that push, boom, and all the lights and everything, they're either going to bury themselves under the doghouse or they're going to run away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like my little girl, Shelby, she will honestly crawl under the lowest thing ever. Usually she's under the bed, or she'll hide underneath my office desk, because it just totally freaks her out.
Yep.
And so she's just like every other dog. So if you have dogs that are normally outside dogs and you have them in a chained area, that chained area is not going to be enough. Seriously. So you make sure that they're inside. Put them in the garage. Make sure that they have nice bedding and, the food and water and all of the proper amenities. But on the 4th of July, especially when people start lighting off those fireworks, your dogs and your cats are going to freak out.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You did an excellent job of sitting in for Officer Mort this morning.
Well, thank you very much.
Something else? My dad used to have a husky back in the 60s. Well, that was one of the most beautiful dogs ever, and unfortunately it got away one night, and we never did find that dog again. But these huskies, and I'm sure you're probably posting a picture of it and everything, they are absolutely, and they can be the kindest dogs in the world.
They are. They do have a stubborn streak. I've had a husky before, and they do kind of they're strong-willed, but they're very, very loyal.
Absolutely.
And she's just a beautiful girl. She's about a year old. So if you'd like to, take her out on a play date, then just get a hold of the animal shelter at 438-2200.
All right, who let these dogs out anyway? Officer Ken Mort, normally right here. Gina doing a great job filling in, and Dog Nation this morning. Hey, Gina, I gotta ask you, I cannot let this go any longer. Did you get that picture?
Well, she sent me a series of links, and so I've got to discern which link it is and which picture I'm looking for.
You are looking for the picture of the rather chunky lady wearing spandex on a subway.
Oh, okay. So we will discuss this a little bit later because I do know that Miss Rita Ramsey should be calling in here any second, and I am going to log into, because I did see it on my phone, but I can't bring it up on my phone, and so I have to actually get on.
Once you look at this picture, you probably will never ride a subway in your life or hold on to the bar.
Oh my gosh, that just painted a picture. I think I know what's coming, but I will definitely, now I know what I'm looking for.
Yes. Okay, I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursdays, I always look forward to having a conversation about politics and other stories with a lady that is absolutely well-versed in all of those aspects, the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How you doing?
Well, I'm really concerned, and I'm not saying that to be theatrical. I'm very, very concerned that America and its values, its decency, its morals, its quest for right over wrong, I'm beginning to wonder if we haven't gone too far down the yellow brick road and the road of no return, because I'm worried about where we are right now.
Well, if we're not down the road for no return, we're close. And the only way that we're going to do it is if people will start getting informed and banding together and telling our government, you can't do this, don't do this. Get a hold of our congressmen, get a hold of our senators. There's just numbers of things that we need to be contacting them about and asking them to address and how they stand on it. And it goes for our local ones as well. You know, if you've got specific things that you have questions about, you need to get a hold of our representatives right here locally, and then get a hold of our congressmen and our senators and ask them. Say, I want to know how you stand on this. How are you going to vote on this? Just like there should be a barrage of people calling Senator or Congressman Simpson, asking him how he's going to vote on the majority leader when he votes. Is he going to support Raul Labrador, who is extremely conservative, or is he going to get a carbon copy of Cantor, who was just released by his district?
Yeah, here's the thing about Kevin McCarthy and Raul Labrador. I have a tendency to think it was nice that Labrador put his name out there, and I think they're just giving him lip service and saying, boy, you got a good chance. I think it was a slam dunk and a done deal that they're going to go with McCarthy initially because of being one of the good old boys from the get-go. Maybe you think I'm wrong. Go ahead and tell me.
Well, there is a vote, and it'll be a vote in Congress, and if everybody gets a hold of their congressman and tells them that they want something other than business as usual, maybe we'll get something towards a more conservative voice. But if we just let the congressmen do what they do best, which is vote, and let them choose whether they've given us any input or not, we'll probably get the same as usual, because that's the way they do it. It's just you take one position so that you can roll over into the next position. It's not, you know what, you're not doing a good job, we need somebody with some new blood, or we have some new issues coming about, or the American people have changed their mind and they don't like this path that we're going down. We need to contact our Senate and Congress when there are issues and make known to them what they've got, and then visit with your neighbors, which, you know, that's one of the worst things that you can do is talk politics and religion, because they always bring up all kinds of issues that people are against or feel like that, you know, they can start arguments over. That's the two things they say. Don't ever start those kind of conversations at family dinners, because you'll end up in big arguments.
Absolutely.
But you know, we've got to start doing that. These politicians have taken us down a road on a path to destruction. And we've let them do that because we gave them the opportunity to make these choices for us. And now we're going to have to start hollering and screaming and hounding them to make the choices that we want. Oh, we've got to just contact them time and time again to make sure that they're doing what we want. And if we don't, they'll assume, well, I can just make this decision on my own. And Representative Simpson will say, well, I'm glad to have McCarthy because he's been on the Congress, this committee and that committee, and he's up there with the leadership, and so it only stands to reason that he should advance one more space and just go with the same old good old boys. But if we do enough contacts with him, maybe he'll change his mind and say, you know what? I better vote the way my constituents are asking me to vote.
Absolutely. Rita, I don't know if you heard yesterday's program or not, and I made a vocal plea, and I'm following up on it with this morning at our lunch bunch at Denny's restaurant. I am submitting a petition to all of the people that are going to be at lunch bunch for the impeachment and the stoppage of this administration with Barack Hussein Obama because of a dereliction of duty, incompetence, gross negligence, lying, and fraudulent activities, along with crimes against the Constitution. Some people thought it was frivolous and a waste of time, but you know what? I feel satisfied by doing something to let this petition go, get the names, send it to either Mike Crapo and Mike Simpson, let them know that their constituents are fed up with this administration. I want to do something. Do you think it's frivolous, or do you think you agree with me?
Well, I think that's the way that it has to start, and you, along with others, need to contact both of our senators and our congressmen and tell them this is what you want done. And if enough people contact them, maybe they'll do something. You're not the only person in America who feels this way. There are tons and tons of people clear across this country. And you know what? The deal with Cantor getting voted out didn't have to do necessarily with the border thing, and it didn't have anything to do with necessarily the things that are at hand today. It's that those people are tired of feeling invisible, that they don't have a voice, and that they haven't been listened to by their congressman. That's why he was released from his post, and that's what needs to happen. And so if you feel like that you need to, the president ought to be impeached and its proceedings ought to get started, then that's where it starts, is exactly what you're doing, a petition and then sending it on to the Congress and the Senate so that they know, too, that we're not happy a bit with what's going on. All of them will tell you that they're not happy, and if they're not happy, then why aren't they doing something, is my question.
Well, I got a letter that came in early this morning from Alan West. You know Alan West, and you know the Alan West Guardian Fund. Anyway, this letter, I want to just read it. It's very, very short, and I want you to respond to it. It came in this morning after yesterday's program with my talk about going after Barack Obama on impeachment charges and removing him from office. It says, "Dear friend, I wanted to make sure you didn't miss this. GOP Congressman Lou Barretta has just announced that he thinks there may be enough yes votes in the House of Representatives to impeach Barack Obama." So all of this is a movement right now, Rita. There's a lot of people besides me and besides Southern Idaho and many, many people that are listeners. Oh, not again. I'm here and not happy. This happens every day at the same time, and I can't understand why. Rita, I'm so sorry I got cut off. It was not the station's fault. The illustrious phone companies are the ones that are the guilty culprits, and we're trying to figure out how. But anyway, what I was saying about Alan West in this letter, Rita, there are literally, like you suggested a moment ago, millions of people that would like to see Obama absolutely not be able to continue the final 2 years of his term as President of the United States because of not only the scandals, but the absolute sellout to America.
I absolutely feel that way, and I think that it's time that our Senate and Congress start making some some strides in doing what needs to be done there, and they'll only know if we contact them. So having a petition and a bunch of people signing it is the first step, and then it needs to go on to those who actually have the votes and the powers to get things started. Because I like you, think there's just millions of people out there that are ready for this to happen. Our country is ruined, and I don't know whether or not we can bring it back and have what we've had before. I just don't know whether it's possible.
Let me throw this at you, and I'm very critical of my own industry, and that's the media. I am offended. I'm amazed as to their blasé attitude. I'm amazed that they have put themselves and elevated themselves into whether they think it's newsworthy or not. The media, NBC and ABC primarily, have not covered, as of last night, one single story about the absolute heinous crime that's being committed on our borders of Texas and Arizona with these mass immigrations of illegal kids coming into this country. What is the matter with our media, Rita, that they can't comment on a story that's huge?
Well, I'm guessing that there has to be something, and I will go as far as to say that it's sinister and they're being blackmailed, because that Cheryl Atkinson, I think she was from ABC, maybe she was CBS, I'm not really sure. Anyway, when she finally quit and said, you know what, I just got tired of them saying, no, we don't want to cover that story, and yet I was thinking, you know what, this is a story that everybody needs to hear. And Fox News basically and some of the talk radio people were the only ones that were even bringing some of these stories out, and yet her news affiliate would not let her do any of it and put it out there. They'd go, oh, no, we're not going to do this. And I mean, she had various things happening to her. They'd get on her, somebody would get on her computer at night, turn it on when at her home. And she was thinking, did I turn that on? And then she started documenting it, and they were getting on and checking all of her notes and stuff she had on Benghazi. So we know that came through the NSA or through the powers that be in Washington. And so if they were doing that to her personally, what were they doing to those people who were her bosses and in charge of her and her editors that were saying, well, this is what we're going to go with and this is what we're not, and that type of thing? I just think that it's really terrible, and I think that Washington has got control of the majority of the media, and that's why they've got a pass on it. That's not what Congress had in mind, or the Founding Fathers had in mind when they held their first constitutional Congress and started making laws. They were trying to prevent this from happening so that the news media could keep the politicians honest and bring all things out so that the government could not become tyrannical. And yet here we are, back there, what they were trying to avoid.
Rita, I'm scared about the media. I'm scared about the sellout and the basically caving in to supporting a man that they wanted as their golden child from the get-go, and that's Barack Hussein Obama. For some reason, they have caved to him and the Democratic influence in this country. They are not carrying the stories. They are not saying anything negative about his actions or inactions, like the other night going to a golf tournament in California that he was playing in, and then later that night going to a $32,000 per plate fundraiser and not addressing the issues of Iraq and other major problems in this country. The man has shown a complete dereliction of duty.
He has. He's just not engaged at all. And I think it was, maybe it was George Wills that I heard say this. It could have been somebody else, but it doesn't really matter who said it. It was one of the people on TV when they were talking about this. He said, well, you should have looked at his record as a senator, because he showed up or most of the time he voted not present. He didn't want to vote. He didn't want to make decisions. That was not in his repertoire. He had no desire to do that. He did the same thing when he was in the state and Senate in his state of Illinois. He did the same things. There were very few things that he even voted on. Most of the time he just voted present. He didn't vote for or against. He didn't want to have decisions. He didn't want to have people coming back at him. And one of the most important decisions, and about the only one that he really voted on in his state, was that it was okay to have partial birth abortions when those babies were, ready to be born almost. It's still okay to do that, and that they could not take care of babies after they were aborted if they were still alive. They couldn't hold them until they died or anything else. They just had to leave them in a heaping pile. And that's the kind of thing that he voted for. The rest of the stuff, he never voted. He never made decisions. So what would lead us to believe that he would be a president that would make tough decisions?
Rita, I'm going to go to a break right now for the weather, and then I want to come back and I want to talk to you about your computer skills, if you would. So stand by. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the weather, and the weather this hour is brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Number to call, 733-3546. Red's Trading Post, Ryan and the rest of the crew always serving you with the best of guns, ammo, and accessories, and people that really understand that business. They're having an inventory clearance on most of their firearms, and many are below cost. Stop in today. Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. And right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Daylight hours is not really a big thing in the lower 48 to some folks, but if you're keeping score at home, you're going to be hitting about 15 hours of daylight, and by Monday you'll start to lose it, and you will continue to lose it all the way to December 21st, which is known as the first day of winter. There'll be a quiz on this Monday morning. Otherwise, you got a nice weekend. Sunny all the way across the board. 77 for the high today. Gets up into the mid-80s pretty much throughout the weekend, all the way through Sunday. And you get to start out a work week with a little bit of daylight loss, but some nice sunny weather and temperatures in the mid-80s. So, enjoy the weather, Dylan. What do you got?
Thank you, Michael. Sounds good. Brought to you this hour by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Rita, you use a computer every day, don't you?
Yes, I'm kind of inept in a lot of departments of computer stuff. So.
Yeah, but you use it for your business and you understand what's going on. But now, come on, Rita, we should be patient. We should be forgiving to the IRS, shouldn't we? The biggest doggone entity in the country as far as handling our money is concerned, and acting as a thug and a punk demanding that we pay this, that, or the other. Oh, their computers crashed, and it just so happens it's Lois Lerner and 6 other very important people with the IRS under investigation from Congress. Rita, you can accept the fact that it was lost, can't you?
Yes, I guess that's true, knowing all that I know, but I've heard a lot of IT people saying there is absolutely no way that has been lost. It can be retrieved if they want to, and the FBI can go in and pull all of that information off. It is not lost. It is not gone.
Okay, that being said, isn't this absolutely a joke and nobody's laughing? I mean, here we are in a day and age of technology, and anybody in government, especially somebody with, of course, the IRS, my goodness, I can't buy into the dog ate the hardware. This is nothing more than a ploy to beleaguer and delay what Congress is asking for as far as information.
The part that should really make us mad is to think that they would pull a stunt like that they thought we would believe. They think we are so stupid that we would fall for it. It is not true. They're lying to us. They decided they would put it out there and say that this is what happened. Of course, they released it at 5 o'clock on a Friday night so that it won't make all the news cycles because you've just got weekend stuff going. But the part that they think that we would swallow it is the part that makes you the maddest. And you know what? If I was being audited by the IRS, I doubt very seriously that they would say, well, I guess if you lost it on the computer, we're not going to worry about it.
There you go.
I still have to prove
Absolutely. I want to end the program talking a little bit more about these children on the border. I made some comments the other day, and there were some that perceived them as a little harsh. But the fact is that we are allowing, thanks to the Obama administration, literally thousands of kids, some as young as 3 years of age, and I still don't understand this, how a parent anywhere in the world could put a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old on a bus and say, hey, good luck in America, hope you get there. And we are taking care of them, and our Border Patrol is nothing more now than paid babysitters and diaper changers. What are your thoughts about this mess in Texas and Arizona?
Well, it's only going to continue to get worse if we don't shut the valve off. We've got to stop the flood by turning the water off. And the way that we do that is I would be in favor of sending National Guard down to guard the borders. And if they have to be shoulder to shoulder to keep those people from coming in, that's what we need to do. And then we need to take all of those kids, find out where they're from, and turn them around and send them back home on an airplane or a bus, whatever it is, and tell them that they need to stay home. We cannot take them in. You've got all these bleeding heart people, and I feel for these kids. They're being used as pawns. It's horrible because the parents are sending them in knowing that as soon as their child gets there and gets this little permit saying that they can stay, then the whole family can come. So each child that could be hooked up to at least 2 parents, plus brothers and sisters, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, that could multiply into huge millions and millions of people just in this one little event that's happening. I mean, there's almost 60,000 kids. And for that to happen is going to be us just, going down. It's overwhelming the system, just like Cloward and Piven predicted will happen. You overwhelm the system, and you can break it. And pretty soon we'll be under socialist government, and I think this is one way that the government can get us to where they've got us under control of saying, hey, we got to take care of this. We've got to take care of this. I did hear one theory the other day saying that, this is a ploy for some of those to come in and say, well, this is our land, just like the Palestinians did to the Israelis. This is our land. This is our land. Give it to us. Give it to us. Well, are they going to start claiming part of Texas and part of Arizona as their land so that they can have their own country? And those people who own property and stuff in those states are going to have to relinquish this to some people who become squatters?
Yeah. And here's what really bothered me the other night. Democratic strategist Kirsten Powers was on television, and she was literally welling up with big tears, saying, oh, I don't care if it's 50,000 kids or if it's 100,000 kids. We, the United States, the richest country in the world, we should take care of them. And I sat there and I looked at my wife, and I said, wait a minute, I love kids, I've got grandkids, but I can't see why they are being used as pawns and shuffled off on a bus over thousands of miles to come to America and utilize them as a key to open the door for other illegals to come into this country. We got to shut the door on this somehow. We don't even know who they are, what they represent, what diseases they might be carrying. We've got to be more safe and sane for our own people that live and reside here.
Well, and her tone of voice was not only what you just said, but it was also, Bill, can't you see that you are being mean to these kids? You can't just let them go. So they start on this bleeding heart liberal thing of how horrible you are because you would be against letting these kids come here and us taking care of them, and we're the richest country and we should be able to take care of them, and you're just horrible because you don't. It wasn't about the real thing. The real thing is these kids are coming in, they're being used as pawns, they're illegal, we can't take care of them. We're going to have to resolve it by sending them back home, telling them they're going to have to come by legal methods and souping up the border with National Guard or soldiers or whoever. We've got a ton of soldiers that have come back from Afghanistan and Iraq that probably would just as soon have some place to go and be guarding the country, and that's where they need to be.
Absolutely. Rita, I've only got a minute left. Tell us quickly what's going on with the Tea Party.
Well, Well, we don't really have too much going on right now, and I don't have time to get into it, but in July we're going to talk about the Idaho GOP meetings that were held up in Moscow this last weekend, and that meeting is on July 10th, so we're still a ways away from that, but that's kind of the direction we're going, is just trying to get people informed.
All right. You do a great job. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the program this morning, Rita Ramsey. God bless. We'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Seb. Bye.
Thank you. Very knowledgeable lady, and I enjoy her wit and wisdom as to what's going on with the world and all of its problems right here on Thursdays. Rita Ramsey, thank you very much. Wow. You know, I've been trying to really cut back a little bit, but boy, about this time of the morning, I can just hear my old stomach going, feed me! I'm hungry, and I'm starving to death. But I do know some great places that you and I can all go and enjoy some excellent food. How about the Taco Bandito? Oh, I love this place. 2301 Overland in Burley, the Southern Baked Burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell, chicken or steak, made a special way that just Kip knows. Yes, he's locked it away in his mind, and he's the only one that knows. Stop in and see him today. And check out the Tamalito burritos and the Bandito burritos. Everything is delicious at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about two places right now, Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Summer's here. And Burgers Etc. has 16-ounce root beer floats after 3 p.m. for only 99 cents. Are you kidding me? After 3 p.m., 99 cents, root beer floats, Burgers Etc. Better get in there. And they got the fresh strawberry shakes, and they got hamburgers and cheeseburgers and all kinds of great meals. You're going to love them at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's move on over to Steve-O's. Oh, my goodness, the patio's open. Patio's open at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn, and food made the way you like it. They just remodeled, and they're waiting for you to try it out. Get on in there for lunch and soak up the sunshine, or stop in after work and sit down and just relax. Try the pork chops and salad and choice of potatoes. Oh, I love the food. You're going to love the people and the service, everything at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Let's move on over to Duck Uglies. Hello, Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley, right next to Berry Equipment and Rental. They've got a menu that absolutely is fantabulous. I mean, they've got everything from ribeye steaks to New York steaks to battered cod, Philly steak, hero sandwiches on a pita sandwich bun. Oh, it's delicious. I tried the hot dog in there the other night wrapped in bacon. Home run. I loved it. It's a kid and family-friendly environment at Duck Uglies. You're going to love it. So stop in at 163 West Highway 30 in Burley, Duck Uglies. And last but not least, if you're hungry and starving to death, don't forget AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. They were voted to have the best hamburger award for this year. Why? You better get on in there. They've got the famous Farmer Brown burgers and the ranch burgers, and they got all the fries with the special sauce, and they can make any kind of a milkshake, and they got combo meals. Oh my goodness sakes, you better stop in today. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. They're waiting to serve you. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. And without even having to ask, Gina, are you? Duh, she said.
So you went to Duck Uglies and you had the ugly dog wrapped in bacon is what you had.
It is unbelievable.
Oh, so good. Did you put chili on it too?
Let me tell you, no, I don't put chili. I'm not a big chili lover, but I'm not. I got to say this up front. I have never been a hot dog lover in my life, but I told them, and I'll tell the world, I absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm. It is good because my brother and I went in there, and I was going to order the ugly dog, and she looks at me and she's like, "Have you had it wrapped in bacon?" I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, have it wrapped in bacon." And I'm like, "All right, sister, you go for it." And so they did that, and oh my gosh, And then you put a little bit of chili on that with extra cheese and some fresh onions. And, baby, that is hot dog heaven.
Oh, my. And by the way, speaking of things that you enjoyed, did you enjoy that picture I told you about?
I did, as a matter of fact. She's a little plump on the backside, resting in an inappropriate area.
You know, I think the only way that you could really describe that picture would be that for balance and making sure all sides are equal, she utilized a certain part of her anatomy with tight spandex pants on to balance herself while she was riding on the subway.
And apparently she held nice and steady.
Uh-huh.
There's no way to politely describe this photo. Basically what it is she's plump. She's not fat, but she's got a plump rear end.
She's got a caboose on her that wouldn't be able to be pulled by a train.
She's got some junk in the trunk, and she is backed up against, one of the poles there, on the subway, and she's leaning up against it perfectly in the middle.
Yeah, and I think at that juncture,
we should take a break.
I think we'll go to the news. I'll talk to you in 6.
You got it.
All right. Oh, play that music. Here we go. Hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. Good morning, and brought to you by our major corporate sponsor, which is, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. We're going to be talking to those folks in just a few minutes, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Thank you very much. Hey, by the way, don't forget the Chadwick Sports Grill. Great food, 139 West Main in Burley. Today, on their menu extraordinaire, they have pulled pork burritos with rice, beans, and super salad for just $8.95. That sounds so delicious. Pulled pork burritos, that is going to be good at the Chadwick Sports Grill. All the menu items are great. You're going to love the environment. People are fantastic. Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Let's head on down to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And with us today is...
Jason today, Zeb.
I'm not going to hang myself out to dry. I knew I was going to have a fast one pulled on me. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I understand, rumor has it, that you are celebrating your 67th anniversary spectacular. Is that correct?
You know what? We have got a lot of specials right now, Zeb. And just along that line, to get started, in our floor covering, we got a number of different special buys on some rolls of carpet. And, we've got Smart Strand at under $1 a square yard or a square foot. We've got some other yarn systems as far as that goes. Some of the Shaw that has the R2X built into the yarn system. And what that is, it's a unique product that Shaw has. It's the product where you might spill something, a drink or whatnot, and it causes it to bubble up on top of the carpet so it doesn't absorb down in.
Oh, wow.
We've got some real good buys on those. Normally you're in your, $20 to $30 range. On those we've got them, as low as $13, $14 a square yard. Some really good buys there. And then also on the vinyl flooring, this is becoming real popular for those kitchens, for the bathrooms. You don't have to worry about the water aspect. But we've got some of the fiberglass glueless vinyls at 77 cents a square foot.
Wow.
And a lot of people can do these on their own. It's a much easier vinyl to work with. Like I said, it can be installed glueless, meaning you don't have to get adhesive. That's pretty much it. It's very affordable and can be done real easy.
All right. Well, man, I'll tell you what, complete rooms made simple. You can literally look at a great big empty room and you can fill it with all the beautiful furniture, can't you?
That's right. We've got a number of different options to choose from. We've got sofa love sets at just $6.99, and it's not just one or two. We've got a lot to choose from that fit that criteria. And then we've got a 14-piece living room set. So if you're needing to fill up your entire room, not maybe just a sofa or a love seat, but if you're needing the tables, the lamps, a rug, those items, that's part of the 14-piece. It's only $9.99.
Oh, my goodness.
You've got a new room. Maybe you're moving. You got to fill up the room. Great way to fill up that room at a very good price point. And we've got a number of different options as far as the table grouping goes, the lamps. It's a really good program we've got right now. Absolutely.
And we're talking to Jason, and one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Quick, tell us the office hours and tell everybody to come on in.
We are open from 9 to 6 on the weekdays and then 10 to 5 on Saturday. And hurry in. We've got everything marking down, getting ready for this 4th of July season coming up.
All right, Jason. God bless you, man. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, take care. Really good folks at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. Excellent folks to work with. Right now it's time for Cassia County School Days, and we're certainly appreciative of all the help that we get from our dear friend Debbie Critchfield putting this all together every week. And Cassia County School Days brought to you by two wonderful businesses. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley. Everything for the toddlers and the babies. I'll tell you, the strollers and the walkers and the blankets and the clothes and the baby books and everything. It's all there. And remember, gift wrapping is always free. A great family store, A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Drive in Burley. Before you have outpatient surgery, be sure and check with them. Every procedure done right there at Ambulatory Surgery Center will save you money and get outstanding medical care. Over 100 procedures are performed there every month. Call 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Drive in Burley and A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you school days in Cassia County. And right now, we have Mr. Numbers on the program with us from Cassia High School, and he is what they call math teacher extraordinaire. It's Dan Tomander. Is that how you say your last name, Dan?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, you are a math teacher, and I'll tell you right up front, it sounds like I should have had a math teacher like you in high school. I hated mathematics. I hated algebra. I hated geometry. I hated everything about it. What makes you so special and such a great teacher? Everybody's bragging on you.
Well, that is just too kind for everybody to say, because I don't really know that I'm special in any kind of way, but we have a lot of good math teachers, and we're all trying to figure out exactly what we need to do to make math more appealing to kids.
What is
right now a new program in my classroom where the kids are able to work through math kind of at their own pace, and really trying to use a lot of technology to make it so that kids are not stressed out by deadlines in their learning. If they can learn at their own pace, that kind of really helps them. They don't have to worry about keeping up with the person next to them, or they don't have to worry about being held back because math is boring because they've already figured it out, but they can just kind of accelerate.
I wish, and I mean this seriously, I would have had a teacher like you with some of the concepts. Mathematics today in my life is relatively easy for me, and I was absolutely wearing the dunce cap when I was in high school. Why? What happened in my life, I wonder, where all of a sudden the numbers and the multiplication and the division and everything and the algebra equations, they all seem to come back to me, and I'm better now than I was in high school.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that really we all do speak a little bit of math,
math is something that we really use in our everyday life and in the world that we live in. But, not textbook math. It's not the kind of math where you sit down and study math concepts. That's not the kind of thing that you do every day. You just solve problems, and you use math tools to solve problems. So as much as we can, the math teachers today, we're just looking for opportunities to take these concepts and apply them in the real world and let kids kind of explore and practice and see as much as possible how things work in the real world, and then kind of go back and build up their thinking so that they understand why does it work that way, and what math tools help me understand I can apply to a future situation.
I
know math is evolving right now, and that is a really kind of a cool, exciting thing for me, the idea that the way we teach math is changing right now.
Now, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing, and is it a confusing issue? Answer that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely confusing for a lot of people because we're so used to just, having numbers and just adding them up or having a problem set. And, a lot of times in a math classroom, a kid will do a bunch of problems in a row. When they get to the harder word problems, they don't really necessarily maybe know how to do them, and they don't learn how to do them, and they just say, well, I'll get that one wrong. I'll still get a C or a B, if they get most of the problem set correct. And so this idea that you're going to start by looking at a word problem and thinking about the how to solve that word problem, it is new. It's different. It's a bit challenging. My kids come in my classroom, and I'm teaching summer school right now. So the kids that came in a week and a half ago sat down, a whole bunch of them had never seen anything like that before. And I asked them, right up front, I get a lot of complaints on the first or second day, like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure what we're doing. But I asked them to fill out surveys, and yesterday they filled out their week 2 survey, and the feedback is just overwhelmingly positive from the kids. They all respond that they're enjoying it, that they really appreciate the pace that they can move at, and that they're learning a lot. So it's something that, kind of takes some getting used to, but it's definitely an improvement.
Dan, I understand from this little note that I received that you, on behalf of the Albertsons Foundation, received a $50,000 grant. Wow, what does that mean?
Yay, that's such good news. We're so excited about that at Kaja High School. And Burley High School received a big grant as well. And actually, this is our second year in a row receiving a big grant from the Albertsons Foundation. So we sure appreciate their support. They're one of our great benefactors for our school. Last year it was $32,000 that we got, and then another $50,000 this year. So what it means is it's gonna equip our classrooms with technology, so that the kids, as they try to learn these new math concepts, they really have the opportunity to access all of the new teaching tools that are available online. We'll be able to have in our school a 1-to-1 device ratio, meaning that the kids will be actually able to have their own little laptop that they can use. We use the Chromebooks, and they'll use those every single day. And they really be able to use them in every class that they're in, whether they're learning math or English or history or whatever.
Now,
we're excited about that.
I'll bet you are. Dan, I'm going to ask you this. Now, what in the world propelled you into wanting to be a math teacher? I mean, did you wake up one morning and say, yes, I'm going to be the Einstein of numbers? What happened to you?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I was a banker, and I did not have any interest in being a teacher, really. And then I had moved around a lot from banking, and I decided, you know what, I'm done moving around. I've been relocated several times, and they were asking me to move one more time, and our family had moved too many times. So I got out of banking, and I thought maybe I'd go into law or do something different. And I was actually talking to the dean of admissions at the law school, and she asked me a question. She said, what is it you love about law? And I realized, I really don't love, I just kind of fell in love with the idea of being a lawyer and having my own practice or whatever. And I said, I went home and I said, I really need to answer that question. What is it I love to do? And I realized in all my days as a banker and as a manager of bankers, my favorite days were the days when I trained, when I taught people, when I brought them in. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach. And then I thought, I need something with job security, so I'm going to teach something that everybody absolutely hates and try to get really good at that. And And that led me to math. And now I've been teaching, math at Cassia High School, our school district's alternative school. I've been teaching there for 5 full years, going into my 6th year now, and I just love it every year even more. It's just great.
Every one of the math teachers I had, and if Mr. Lansing is still alive and listening in Wisconsin, I hated your algebra class. They were cold. They were calculating. They didn't have a personality. You're not like that. You're a nice guy.
Well, thanks, Zeb. I sure appreciate it. I don't know anything about Mr. Lansing, but I've met my fair share of boring math teachers as well. Well, we'll try to change that up. I've got signs hanging up in my classroom that make jokes about math and how we all hate it, because it's better just to acknowledge that math is something that can be extremely dry, very challenging, and not fun in any way. And so we're really trying to change that, in my classroom as much as possible.
Dan, seriously, with the changes in education, and we alluded to that just a few moments ago, and with the acceptance nationwide and a lot of people revolting against it, some states have revolted, like Indiana and others, against Common Core. What are the changes that Common Core presents as far as teaching mathematics?
The concepts that we're learning in math now, what the kids are asked to do. The Common Core is really all about standards, right? And our standards are what the kids should be learning. They outline what the kids should learn, what they should learn to do. And when you read through them, they have a lot less to do, at least in my level, a lot less to do with solving problems, and a lot more to do with things like explaining solutions, proving, explaining the thinking behind the math. And so there's not a lot of the older curriculum that really lines up well with what we should be teaching now. So really, when you ask about what change comes about, it really has given us math teachers a great opportunity to go back to our curriculum and really question what is the most important stuff that we should be teaching here. And we find, okay, there's not that much in our old textbooks, so we better get out there and look for some more stuff. And so it's kind of reinvigorating to say, okay, I'm going to design something new. I've got to find new materials. I've got to find new techniques for teaching. And it's actually a thrill to be a part of it.
Okay.
Because we know that what we did before, it worked to help kids get to where we wanted them to be before. But now that we have a new set of standards, we have new technology, which makes things, possible. We can really reimagine what the math classroom should be like. And I think I see that happening all over, especially here in the state of Idaho. I see so many of our teachers here in Idaho that are anxious and willing to try and find a new way, a better way to help our kids learn about these concepts, these math concepts that will help them throughout their life.
I'll tell you what, you are good. I wished I had you as a teacher. Dan Tumander of the Cassia High School math teacher extraordinary. He lives up to that. Thank you for being on the program, and I guarantee you I want to have you back in the future. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bell, and you have a great day.
All right, sir. Thank you. Nice man. And that's the kind of math teacher I could learn from. Hey, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Drive in Burley, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Thank you so much. In just a minute, we're going to be talking to Shelley Telleria over at the Rupert 4th of July celebration, so stand by for that. Hey, the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh, the weather's warming up, and everybody's heading to the patio at the Drift Inn. Oh, yeah, great food. They got music on the patio, and tonight, Thursday night, is barbecue night. Oh, hey, it's going to be delicious, featuring ribs and pulled pork or salmon. It is good. The Drift Inn on the square in Rupert, a great place to eat and relax. Rupert 4th of July celebration is coming up in just a matter of days, and with us on the telephone right now, I believe we have Shelley Telleria. Hello, Shelley. How are you?
I'm great, Zeb. How are you?
I always cringe when I go to say your last name because I'm always afraid I'm going to say it wrong. Did I say it correctly or not?
Oh, yes, you said it perfectly.
Well, don't give me too much boasting. We're not done with this segment yet. But
well, it's been messed up a few times.
I can imagine it has. Now, listen, there seems to be a whole bunch of fun things going on over at the Rupert 4th of July celebration. I got about 5 minutes here, so I'm going to let you carry the ball and run with it with the theme, Let Freedom Ring. Give us some of the highlights, would you please, Shelley?
Well, a lot of the highlights surround around the free concerts in the park. We have 3 this year. We're going from the 1st of July to the 5th of July, which is kind of important. We've had a lot of complaints in the past that once the 4th is over, everything's over. And with the 4th on Friday this year, we decided to do a bunch of stuff on July 5th. Tuesday night, of course, is our opening day with breakfast, and we'll have the concert at night at 7:30, as well as the fireworks at dark. Wednesday, we're having Cold Hard Cash, which is a Johnny Cash tribute band.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, there will be no concerts on the square, but a patriotic program on the square. That's right up your alley, isn't it, Zach?
You better believe it.
We'll also have the lawnmower races going on, and at the Wilson Theater, there's a play, Summer Nights.
Okay.
Friday, we're going to have our parade, of course. It starts at 11 o'clock. But before that, you can't miss the fun run. It starts at 7 a.m. at the East Minico Junior High School, Middle School.
Mm-hmm. And then
Saturday...
I just didn't mean to, I don't want to interrupt you there, Shelley, but I got to tell you that I'm very, very partial to the good folks over in Rupert, but your 4th of July parade is always exceptional.
I love our parade. It's great. We always have extremely good people that join in and come in and go. We try to put it together so that everybody can hear all the bands playing and see all the horses going, and it's a real effort on a lot of people's part to pull that together.
Absolutely. What else is going on the 4th on Friday?
On Friday, the food booths will be open. The fun run, of course, at 7 a.m., the parade at 11, and then there'll be a family rodeo at the fairgrounds at 8 o'clock that night, as well as another bout of the summer nights at the Wilson Theater. We don't have any music in the park that night. Traditionally, people go off and spend their time with families, boating on the river, picnicking, whatever. So we brought all of our entertainment that we would have done that night to Saturday night.
Okay.
So Saturday night, we have a group starting on the square. There'll be entertainment starting at 6 o'clock, and at 7:30, we'll have the Salamanders up there ready to entertain you and bring on the smiles.
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of coordination, and a lot of good people to put on a celebration, and this Rupert 4th of July celebration sounds like it's all coming together.
It does. It does. We have a lot of fun doing it. We take a lot of pride in providing a lot of family activities for people to do as family groups together. We like to see them up there and enjoying themselves.
Shelley, one thing to Rupert, of course, with that square and all the activities on that square, it just makes kind of like the movie A Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. I expect him to be walking around the square any minute.
I love that. That's great. Our square, of course, is a historic square, so there's a lot of other places to visit and learn about on that square, too. And we've got an additional new parking lot that we're quite proud of for extra parking this year as well.
Now, if they need information on the events and what's happening and where and what time, what would you tell people? How can they get a hold of somebody to find out what's going on?
If they want immediate answers to something, they could post on our Facebook page, Rupert's 4th of July celebration. It's directly linked to one of us that we can answer questions right away. Other than that, we do have a phone number. But I don't know what that phone number is.
You know what? I'll help you out on that.
It's just a recording. So basically, the best way to get right online, instant answers would be the Facebook page.
All right. I have a number here at the bottom of this one page, and if it's the wrong one, tell me. I have a number for Jim at 670-5852. Is that the number you were thinking of?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know who Jim at that number is.
Okay, well, whoever Jim is, he's going to get a heck of a lot of calls.
He is, and I hope he has all the right answers.
So do I. Shelley, listen, I wish you a very great 4th of July celebration, and thank you for coming on the program this morning. And we'll keep plugging it right here, and hopefully you can come back and tell us again what's happening.
I'd love to, Zeb. It's been great talking with you today.
All right, same here. Thank you. Let freedom ring. Rupert's 4th of July celebration for 2014. Thank you very much, Shelley Telleria. We are going to take a short break and come back with Kyle Olson of EAGnews.org. Stay tuned.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour. I want to remind everybody about Snyder's Surplus. Leland, Tammy, everybody over at Snyder's Surplus, so nice to us on their grand opening remote we did on Monday, and the specials continue. Snyder's Surplus, just south of the Rupert Elks, and they've got office chairs, and they've got office desks, they've got nightstands. It's not just a military surplus store. They've got everything for you. Please stop in and see them. Hours 9 to 5, and that's Monday through Friday, Saturdays 10 to 3. Snyder Surplus, grand opening of their brand new store just south of the Rupert Elks. Please stop over and say hello today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get on the phone line right now, and our next guest is a man that, excuse me, I look forward to having on my show anytime and every time he's available with EAGnews.org. Mr. Kyle Olson. Good morning, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you back. Now, here it is summertime, and you're probably kicked back in a lawn chair having a cold lemonade, nothing to worry about. Education is wonderful. And then I read a story about how some New York teachers that decided to resign from teaching are going to sue the school district because of raises that they never had while they were teaching. What kind of lunacy is this?
Well, it's what unions do in schools, and so the story, as you said, is that they were teachers that resigned. They're no longer in classrooms. Their union, though, a few years later, negotiated retroactive raises, and so now these teachers are suing with the help of an attorney who it wasn't reported, but I recognized his name, who used to do a lot of work for Acorn in New York City. But they're making this argument that they are owed those raises and they deserve those raises. That's unfortunately the attitude that we get from a lot of unions, especially in schools that are around the country, that they deserve this sort of raise or they deserve this extra money. And my thought about that is, well, one, if you didn't stick it out, then you don't deserve the raise. And two, who is even questioning whether these raises are even warranted? We have this cost of living attitude in schools. There's very little, assessment about whether or not employees actually deserve the raise because of merit or because of their performance. And it's just simply because that they are there another year.
You know, Kyle, what you just said really rings true with me. I'm in an industry where the only way I'm going to get a raise, per se, is to go out and work harder, sell more, and create more activity on my radio program through my business. And I'm a little sick and tired of certain individuals saying, well, the cost of living's gone up, so I demand a raise or I'm not going to do my job. This is idiocy.
Yeah, it really is. But unfortunately, it's the way that it works in government. And it's easy for them to do it because it's not their money. And especially with schools, if they have a budget shortage, they don't necessarily, the first instinct is to go ask for more money, ask for more taxes from property owners, from local, business owners, from the state government. That's their first instinct. The first instinct is not, how do we streamline? How do we become more effective? How do we make sure we're getting the most for our money? It's the attitude is always more.
Okay, so what happens? The current mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, is as liberal as it gets. Is he just going to kowtow to these people? I believe there's over 4,000 of them, and give them raises for work that they never performed?
Well, their goal is a class action suit, and so it would make its way to the courts. But I don't think he is. I think he is inclined to do what they want because he agrees with them ideologically and vice versa. But the bottom line is the school district, the city, doesn't have the money to do that. I mean, they have already been doing layoffs and school closures and all of that sort of thing. One, because of declining enrollment, because parents are fleeing to charter schools, but also because their costs continue to go up because of pension costs and benefit costs and all of those sorts of things. And so the bottom line is the school district doesn't have the money to pay it. But see, a lot of these employees, unfortunately, they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. They have this belief that it's their money and taxpayers have to give it to them.
Let me ask you another question here, and we're having an abbreviated segment this morning because I have to go to a meeting and curtail the program earlier than expected this morning, Kyle. But what about Common Core? I've been following Common Core going into the summer months, and we're seeing a rejection in various states of Common Core and its practices. Bring us up to speed as to what's happening, would you please?
Sure, and actually I've got a piece that should be on FoxNews.com today about this.
Okay.
We've seen Oklahoma, South Carolina, Indiana have all repealed Common Core. Missouri has passed a bill that's sitting on the governor's desk to repeal and replace Common Core. North Carolina legislators are passing a bill. Ohio activists are trying to get a bill passed to repeal Common Core. There are a number of states that are taking a second look and questioning whether or not Common Core is in their best interest. And to me, the most interesting one is Oklahoma, because you have the National Governors Association, which is one of the holds the copyright on Common Core, the Common Core standards, which is the first time a private organization has ever held the copyright on school standards. But the head of the NGA is Mary Fallin, who is governor of Oklahoma. And even she has come to the conclusion that this is no longer in the best interest of our state because it's been corrupted by the federal government. And they decided to repeal and replace Common Core and come up with their own Oklahoma standards. And so it's interesting to see that sort of thing happening in conservative states. Why that's not happening in Idaho, I don't know. But it's encouraging to see more states taking a second look and doing something about Common Core.
Let me ask you, Kyle, if you were to give a summation, a focal point of what most people consider really negative about Common Core and its practices in the school systems, what is the focal point that people are against?
Well, a couple things. If I were to boil it down to two, I would say the loss of local control, because you've got the federal government going around the country telling states what they can and cannot do. Indiana's a good example. They repealed Common Core. Arne Duncan, was issuing all sorts of threats about money that was going to be taken away, and their waiver for No Child Left Behind regulations and all of that sort of thing. So that's one, the loss of local control. But then two, the huge amounts of data that will be collected on students through the standardized testing. We're seeing in states like Florida and around the country a huge increase in the amount of standardized testing. I talked to a band director, a band teacher, who said we now have to collect data on band students, and so we are now testing kids on vocabulary words and that sort of thing. So, and then it's unclear exactly how that data is going to be used, who's going to have access to that. We know that student privacy laws were changed, so private companies will have access to that. And so there are a lot of concerns with Common Core and the direction that it's gone.
Is there a location? Is there a book? Is there a educational source that people can go to and learn the exact ins and outs and pros and cons of Common Core?
Well, Glenn Beck and I published a book a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess. And the biggest single chunk of it is on Common Core, the history of it, the data collection, the groups involved, all of that sort of thing, what it's doing to teaching and learning, all of those sorts of things. It's called Conform. Our website, eagnews.org, we have a Common Core Watch section on our site where we look at all of these different issues in terms of repeal, what parents are doing with opting out of testing, all of those sorts of things. So those would be a couple options.
Kyle, and from your standpoint, and I don't think anybody knows more about education than you do, all the times you've been on this program and I've watched you on television, what is, if there is, a number one worry about Common Core that you are very concerned about?
Well, for me, it's the way it's standardizing and centralizing education. We're seeing Common Core impact private schools, homeschooling, charter schools, online schooling. It's impacting education in places like Texas that made the conscious decision not to adopt Common Core. And so it's affecting all of education in America and not just government schools that decide to opt in.
Okay, well, I want to just say I'll get that book. I'm going to do some study on it. I'm going to call you and have you back on the program in the not-too-distant future. I apologize for an abbreviated segment this morning, Kyle, but God bless you and thank you so much. Kyle Olson with eagnews.org. Thank you for being on my program this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Very, very intelligent, very sharp man, Kyle Olson. I appreciate him being on the show. Hey, it's time for the weather real quick with MichaelRogersWeather.com, and it's brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Don't forget $50 off of free meat. Listen to this. With a purchase of a new barbecue grill from Scarrows, you go over there, get a grill, and $50 of free meat after you buy that grill, and try the marinated tri-tips. Oh, delicious. They sell taste one bite at a time at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years here in southern Idaho. Right now, here is Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Daylight hours is not really a big thing in the lower 48 for some folks, but if you're keeping score at home, you're going to be hitting about 15 hours of daylight, and by Monday you'll start to lose it, and you will continue to lose it all the way to December 21st, which is known as the first day of winter. There'll be a quiz on this Monday morning. Otherwise, you got a nice weekend. Sunny all the way across the board. 77 for the high today, gets up into the mid-80s pretty much throughout the weekend, all the way through Sunday. And you get to start out a work week with a little bit of daylight loss, but some nice sunny weather and temperatures in the mid-80s. So, enjoy the weather is the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Absolutely the greatest. They guarantee everything they sell, and they sell taste one bite at a time. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind everybody about our dear friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, they've got 7 great locations that are serving you. Yes, they've got the best tire value promise, free peace of mind tire protection, free lifetime tire and mileage care, all the tires for all your different styles of driving, whether it's your cars, your pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever, and easy credit plans available. 4 plans are available for you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Don't forget, too, the alignments, front-end alignments, shocks and struts, the very, very best in brake service, along with the batteries and the custom wheels, all of this and more at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. We're going to take off a few minutes early, and the lovely Gina Jameson has very willfully consented to cover for a couple of minutes extra on the show, as we're going to head down to Lunch Bunch, and Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant in Burley today at 11:30. And we want to say thank you also to Smith's Food King, along with Hanson Mortuary and Walmart, for many of the door prize drawings that we're going to be having during Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. Yes, ma'am.
So what is this about? Your petition?
Okay, I'm having a petition, and we're taking it to Lunch Bunch, and it's a petition basically to have Barack Hussein Obama removed from president because of dereliction of duty, incompetence, gross negligence, lying, fraud, and crimes against the Constitution. And I honestly believe that I have many people that will sign that starting today at Lunch Bunch.
Okay, you got it. That's what I wanted to know.
Gina, one last thing, and this is hard for me to mention here this morning. Not only myself and my wife, but all of Magic Valley, and for that matter, anywhere this lady went, she always had a great personality and an excellent speaking voice and a great message to give to people. Idaho lost a great friend yesterday, and I feel like I lost a great friend to my show and also to my public speaking. Jaylyn Twist passed away, and it was on account of Jaylyn that she really helped propel me into doing a lot of public speaking at various events and conventions during the wintertime. And on behalf of my wife, Deanne, and myself, our condolences to Max and the entire family. God bless you in this time of turmoil. And I just mean that, and I know you feel the same way. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to say goodbye for this week, and we'll be back again next Monday at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch and 3 hours of talk right here on K-Bar and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. Until Monday at 8:06, the way things were are the way things ought to be.